You've probably already read the headlines. Solo Leveling in 2025 lost 178 million yen for A1 Pictures, an amount that's roughly equivalent to $1.1 or $1.2 million, depending on who your source is, which is frankly a bit shocking. I mean, A1 Pictures has been on an upward trajectory for quite some time now. Last year, they were at a 24 million yen increase. So it's kind of strange seeing that Solo Leveling, one of the largest anime of all time when we're talking about it in a global scale, is losing this anime studio money. I mean, if we're taking into account Crunchyroll's numbers over here, this broke viewership records. And it practically won every single award during their awards ceremony. They glazed the hell out of that series. So how is it possible that this series didn't net a single cent in profits for this company? Well, that's because this isn't the full story. There's a ton more shenanigans at play here that actually take into account Sony, Crunchyroll, and a lot of IP holders. Hi y'all, I'm Randy, and I guess we're just trailing along talking about my Crunchyroll hatred, because this is another piece to the puzzle that we've got over here. This A1 Picture situation that we've got isn't so cut and dry, because yes, Solo Leveling actually did really well when it came to all things. And if this were a normal anime production, of course it would have net A1 Pictures a shit ton of money. But it wasn't as it seems. Because here's the thing, when it comes to how an anime is produced, there's different levels to it. Sometimes an anime studio themselves is actually going to be trying to make the anime and they actually acquire the rights to make the series. But other times, they're actually going to be asked to make a series because their parent company told them so or because they were hired to do a project. This is the situation that happened to A1 Pictures because Crunchyroll and their parent company, Aniplex, were the ones that actually acquired the rights to make this Solo Leveling project, something that was then handed off to A1 Pictures and they were paid a fixed price to make this series a thing. So as you can probably imagine, all of the standard earnings that would be acquired by an anime studio didn't go to A1 Pictures, but instead went to Crunchyroll and Aniplex. I mean, just take a look at the numbers. Wow, we're losing 178 million yen on A1 Pictures side, there's a 24 million yen profit in Aniplex's side. The profit margins were split in such a way that the holders of the actual IP actually got so much more money than the actual company that was making the actual production, meaning that the directors, animators, everyone that actually put in all that effort received a lot less of the cash. Now, this isn't saying that the studio is going to be closing down or something bad is going to be happening in A1 Pictures. I'm not saying that in the slightest. I mean, A1 Pictures is a staple of the anime industry. I mean, they make rom-coms, they make shonen. Every series that comes out of that studio, I've got to bet, it's probably going to be pretty good. The fact of the matter is, even though they lost a lot of money on this side, and it's probably not going to reflect in anyone's pay, the studio is still going to be maintained because, again, their parent company, Aniplex, is the one that actually profited. There were gains in other side. I would imagine that Aniplex is a company that knows the value of A1 Pictures and they know that they actually did everything that they were supposed to do for being contracted to do this line of work. I mean, here's the thing. If this was a series that actually bombed and it was actually on A1 Pictures because they were the ones that acquired the rights, that's when the studio would actually be in danger. That would be a similar situation to what we got with Princess Kaguya in Studio Ghibli, where the studio actually got so close to ceasing production because that movie did negative profits essentially. Or in the rare situation where an anime studio is actually being backed by something like Crunchyroll and then an anime fails so badly that they actually have to close their doors, that hasn't happened since X-Arm. And I can tell you right now, Solo Leveling did so much better than that abysmal series. There's no chance in hell that this is the end of A1 Pictures or that this is gonna end whatever reputation that they have. This is just the way the cookie crumbles. This is just the ugly business side that everyone in the anime industry has to really put up with. A1 Pictures are masters at their craft and they did so much tremendous work when it comes to this anime. I mean, you've probably seen articles about the amount of work that the animators put in. 220,000 frames of animation for Solo Leveling alone. That's something that takes years to do for a standard anime, and they were able to pull through for this 2-season series that we got so far. There's so much love, care, and attention that was put into this, but again, it's difficult because they were paid a fixed price to actually make the series, so they're not seeing a lot of the benefit that it took to make it, even though it was a hell of a shit show to actually create. Perhaps this is another reason why the actual creative team behind Solo Leveling came out and said that they wanted fans to support the series as much as they could. Maybe there's something there in terms of initiative or profit margins that there is to be gained to allow the next season to flourish a little bit more if more fans get involved with the series or really try to spread out the word as much as they can. I mean, I know this takes into account the entire global scale in terms of how anime is consumed by the global audience, but I wonder if this is also going to be heavily influenced by the amount of people in Japan that are watching the series. Because as I mentioned in a previous video of mine, the Japanese anime audience doesn't really care too much about Solo Leveling. They just see it as a normal run-of-the-mill series, and they didn't really care or put too much importance onto it. That was something that Crunchyroll gave to the entire Western world because they actually started to really promote the series and talk about it in a way that they don't really do for other franchises. You could probably say that the reason that Crunchyroll actually went all in with Solo Leveling is because they had a lot higher stakes when it came to actually making the series come to be as big as it was. You can kind of see it as like an artificial success. This isn't one of the series that Crunchyroll's just getting the license to have playing on their streaming service. This is a series that they actually chipped in to actually make come true, which yields so much more profit margins for them when it actually ends up being successful. And they probably have more stakes when it comes to things like Blu-ray sales, merchandise, all sorts of stuff that they're actually hoping people invest in. In a perfect world, A1 Pictures would be recognized for the amount of work that they put in, and they'd probably be paid just as much as Crunchyroll and Aniplex were. I mean, that would be what's fair and that would be what's just, but that's simply just not gonna happen. I bet that regardless of whatever people think might happen, A1 Pictures is still gonna be tasked with making season 3. I mean, if anything, it might be like one of those bad music deals that someone might be getting, where they actually have to work themselves out of debt so that they can make something that they actually want to do instead of what their parent company or their label actually wants them to do instead. And then it becomes an endless cycle of them losing money every time they put something else out. Who knows? Maybe they're gonna be stuck on this Solo Leveling train for the next however many years it takes them to finish the series. But I sincerely doubt that we're gonna have a drought of Solo Leveling content in the future. But with this, I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on this Solo Leveling controversy / event that went on over here. And here's where I gotta hand it back to y'all. Do you think A1 Pictures actually cares if they're losing money or if they're actually gaining money? Or do you think they're actually just being supported by Aniplex regardless of whatever happens? Please, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you guys think. And as always, I was Randy, and I'll be seeing y'all next time. Peace.